Okay, so first of all, shout out to the entire venue. Kairos Interior Design actually loaned us this place to do a podcast. So for all of you who's looking for consultation or need some help on your ID plans, please reach out to Kairos. We'll attach the website. Okay, hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Bryce on Naman Go to Real Estate channel. Today we'll be looking into Upper House at Orchard Boulevard. So let's dive right into it. Okay, so Upper House, also the very reason why Cuscaden went into fire sale. To me, I personally feel that was the reason why, because Cuscaden, the land that they bought was a bit more of a higher price. Then when the
it's not just a bit more, it's 30 over percent.
Okay, so the moment Upper House, that land came up, Cuscaden, the developers of Cuscaden was like, you know what guys, let's just go on a quick fire sale, and then everything starts going on big discounts. So the very reason why Cuscaden did that about 2 years ago was because of this very project called Upper House. Right, so I thought that in terms of pricing, the developers did an amazing job in acquiring this land. Of course, on top of that, even for business-wise, I thought that when they do get to sell towards the open market, it's going to perform a lot more better, because if my opposite Cuscaden performs at a certain PFS range, then it gives us buyers for Upper House a bit more of a comfort, a bit more of a space. So Upper House, developers by UOL and Singland, who actually did quite a bit of projects, a bit of partnerships. Previously was Parktown also, but this one is a bit more premium, a bit more luxury. So UOL, it's located just right beside Orchard Boulevard MRT station, which the MRT, it's already been built. It's already operating. Now this land is going to consist of 301 units from 1+ study all the way to 4-bedroom premium, which for 4-bedroom premium, they will have their very own private lot and private lift. Okay, now other than that, this will be a one block of 35 stories with commercial at first story, 6 units of commercial. As of right now, it's not for sale. It's mainly for leasing. Okay, then of course, most importantly, it's I thought that the quality of this project was very different. Architect is by ADDP, who has recently been doing quite a bit of projects. Latest one was Linden Woods, but this time when we went to the briefing, I thought that the architects, the designers were a lot more comprehensive on what they were doing for Upper House and I thought that the vibe was very different. Other than that, it is also part of the ground jewel of UOL's luxury masterpiece collection, the House series. So previously they had Mayor House, then they had Wharton House, then lastly Upper House. So what I feel is a bit more important is because this one is quality, big floor plate, fantastic location, projects that perform very well. So this is amongst the very same collection, and the newest one is going to be called Upper House. Okay, and then of course the address will be 22 Orchard Boulevard, which I feel is like wow, 很漂亮. So ladies, you guys been to the Showflat. So what do you think? Let's start with Shah first. What do you think of the Showflat?
Yeah, so we recently went to see the Showflat. I think it was really, really nice. It really gave off the vibe that they wanted to portray basically, which you are buying into a lifestyle development. Everything there was about quality. I was very impressed with the furnishing that they used, even in the Showflat itself. The whole built up was very, very nice, very grand. Yeah, and it felt very exclusive also. So I think this was one of the more upscale Showflats that I've seen this year. Of course, we have a few that came up not too long ago, but I really like this one.
Okay, Amanda?
For me, I find the Showflat really impressive. I mean, as what Charlene mentioned, right? I really appreciated the fact that UOL and Singland really put time and thought into the entire design of the place, not just for the 4-beders only, even right from the 1+ study for this entire development. I appreciated that they used full marble for the living kitchen as well as bathroom, which is not something that you commonly see in other projects. That's one. And another thing that stood out to me for the Showflat was the 4-bedder. Because for the 4-bedder, something interesting is that every unit of the 4-bedder has double volume ceiling at the living, which is amazing because usually for most projects, you only see that in penthouses. But for this project, it's all throughout the entire 4-bedder stack.
So for me, we went down, and it was a privilege for us to be listening to the architect, the designer of the Upper House, and then the idea of Upper House. So when they were talking about the 4 bedrooms, I thought it was very impressive because they did this overlapping system where every the demarcation of the dining area will differ from each level, but that allows every 4-bedroom to have the extra loft area. So I thought that, if you're looking to come into Orchard, space will be the main thing, luxury, high ceiling is something that you always look for. Then the 4 bedrooms is something to look into. On top of that, they have the team from the ID set to come by to talk about the brands. Correct me if I pronounce it wrong, but the wardrobe, the non-4 bedroom wardrobes, 1 to 3 bedroom, it's all by this brand called Kakaro. And then the 4 bedroom is called Ramadisio. Am I?
For the 4 bedroom, master bedroom.
Yeah, 4 bedroom master bedroom is called Ramadisio. Somewhere there, right?
Rimadisio.
Right, Rimadisio. Alright, then, okay, the 4 bedroom wardrobe, it's very, very exclusive because even it's going to be a sliding glass panel, but you don't see the tracks on the bottom of the ground. Sometimes when we do our cleaning or your helpers do the cleaning, then you have some dirt stuck in between. But this one, it doesn't have. That's for wardrobe. The kitchen net, it's called, Amanda help me,
Ernesto Meda.
Ernesto Meda for the kitchenette. And then, the most important, all the appliances are mainly by Visuk as well. And that's what Amanda mentioned, all is marble flooring. So this is going to be a product for quality, people who really love quality. This is your go-to lah. Okay. On top of that, Upper House has this secluded sector where it's called the Botanical Villa, where it has a spa room, it has your massage area, it has your gym area, function area. So everything it's along this sector, but most importantly is they have a concierge service as well. Wow, honestly, it's very quality. I can't think of anything. Everything about this project is very premium lah. Okay.
So actually, Amanda is a really big fan of this project because it's lifestyle.
Yes,
it's totally suited for her.
my kind of project where I even drove down before Upper House is called Upper House.
Yeah. And she keep bringing it up. So she does have quite a few clients that are actually looking into this project also. So she's done a lot of research on this. So maybe I'll be the one to ask you a few of the common questions that most consumers will want to know. And I think number one is, shall we discuss about the maintenance fee first? Yeah, because when I'm looking at it, I'm quite surprised.
Yes.
That they're able to produce a number like this. So how much are we looking at?
So in terms of the maintenance wise, for 1 bed plus study, we are looking at about 425. And then for the 2-bedder as well as the 3-bedder, inclusive of the 2 bed plus study, we are looking at 510. And for the 4-bedroom, we are looking at 680. And which is crazy, right?
Yeah, correct.
Because this amount could well be a maintenance fee of many of the OCR projects that we have seen in the past few launches. It's something that is common to the extent that it's not an objection by buyers anymore in the OCR. But at this price, we are looking at, having a lot of facilities plus concierge.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because if we look at our surrounding areas, right, we are where Cane Hill is at, Nassim is at, and all these majority of the developments, the maintenance fee generally is
in the 4 digits.
Yes, correct. So this is really very surprising, especially like you mentioned, it comes with concierge service. So a few of my clients ask me also, is that because in recent developments, right, a lot of them no longer provide you, especially in core region, they don't give you a guest hop actually. So what about this project?
So for this project wise, something that is good is that the 3 and 4 bedder onwards, they do have guest hop. Whereas in terms of the 1 bed plus study, 2 bedder as well as 2 plus study, we're looking at induction hop. But I think we all know that there's constraints around having guest hop, because in order to have guest hop, there must be a window ventilation.
Yes, correct.
Which unfortunately, according to the rulings of Singapore, we won't be able to do that. But one thing that is good is that at least the 3-bedder has a guest hop, which is something that is very important, because for some developments, even the 3-bedder does not have a guest hop, and sometimes that's really a deal breaker, especially if you have a helper and your helper is going to cook. It's not going to work out too well.
Right.
Everyone, if you love what you're seeing, if you love our analysis and you have any questions, just reach out to our socials. And if you do want to support us and watch more videos like this, do like, share and subscribe. See you soon.
Right.
Can I ask you, Amanda, so supposedly this land can be direct north-south facing, but the developers purposely tilt it slightly towards the west? What's the rationale for this?
So, Upper House is along Orchard Boulevard, and we are at the core. If I can put it, it's like the core of the core central region, right? So when it comes to buyers looking into such project, they are not just looking into numbers. While numbers are important, they are not just looking into what is within the development and what is within the unit itself. A lot of such profiles of my client, they are also looking at what they are seeing outside of their unit. Yeah, what's their view when they wake up from their bedroom to their living room. And that's one of the key reasons when we attend the developer's briefing. That was the key reason why the developer shared that they intentionally tilted in such a way that there isn't a unit that has a block view. In fact, for all of the units, you have different views, either towards the landed or towards Orchard Boulevard area. Really depends on it. Yeah.
Okay, now I want to ask you about the view, man. Okay, so typically people who buy into CCR, right, they always feel like, if I'm going to buy a project, a condo, I typically don't have any views because I'm always in between buildings or I'm along that.
Especially in Orchard.
Yeah, in Orchard, or even like River Valley Road, I'm always looking at another block. I'm always looking at somewhere else. But for Orchard Boulevard, I noticed that you have quite a few, in fact, you have quite a few different views, and it's towards the landed estate of CCR. Can you just walk me through a bit more on the views?
Okay, so in terms of the view wise, if we are looking at, let's say, the three-bedder, the three-bedder is looking towards the good class bungalow region, where some very important people are staying over there.
Who?
Yeah, and I mean, even for the two-bedder wise, you are looking towards Orchard Boulevard, where your main town area is. And for the four-bedder, what you are looking into is the One Tree Hill landed. So really, all throughout the entire development, you do have a variety of choices in terms of what you prefer to look at. I mean, adding on to view, I mean, since we are on the topic of view, right? Something that I really appreciate about Upper House is that the development is situated on an elevated ground. That's one. So meaning to say that if I'm on another development, that development is, say, 5th story, it's equivalent to Upper House 2nd story. It's about 3 stories higher than the rest of the development. So I think that itself really makes the development stands out because, I mean, with elevation also means better view. Even if I were to be buying into the lower floor units, that's one. And another thing about Upper House is that if you were to look into the surrounding of Upper House, all of the developments or buildings are lower in stories as compared to Upper House. Upper House is one of the highest in the entire vicinity at 35 story.
Yeah, and I also like to just point out that because another thing that I think the developers did very well is that because the location itself, actually we are closer to the main road, which means there's more human traffic, right? But then the upside to it is that you have the MRT station right in front of us. But the way the developers have done it, right, is that our facilities, like our swimming pool, all that kind of stuff, they are not on the like a ground floor.
Yeah.
Right? They are all elevated. So even for passerbys, the public walkways, they will not be able to look into your development. So that creates more privacy and you still get like the accessibility to MRTs.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look into the floor plans now. Okay, so I see your 1-bedroom plus study for 474 square feet. You can still squeeze in the study. I thought it was very impressive. But something different about 1-bedroom was because of they don't have the balcony. Right, but because of that, I felt that it really increases the space a lot. But I think the 2-bedroom plus study is something worth bringing up because, as you all know, 2-bedroom they always don't have windows in kitchens or your bathrooms. But ladies, where do you think this 2-bedroom plus study this floor plan itself stand in today's market when I compare to the other launches coming up?
I like it. I really like it because it is one of those that it is not closer to like the kitchen. It's not closer to the living. It's in a location where you can actually enclose fully from the master bath onwards. So you can make that study into a walk-in wardrobe if you really need. Because nowadays 2 bedrooms, 2 plus study, your wardrobe is is pretty much the same as the common room, and just maybe slightly bigger. So this creates an opportunity for really lifestyle couples, or your tenants in the future, people who are looking for this. I don't think that's many in the market now.
Personally, I really love the 2-bed plus study as well. Not because of anything, but really because of how livable it is. I mean, whenever we talk about lifestyle projects, sometimes we often forget to think about the livability of the location. We are always talking about the aesthetic, the services involved. But as much as that is important, we are all humans. We also need the basic features that a house would need. And for me, that would be windows in my kitchen, windows in my bathroom. Of which this 2-bed plus study is able to offer. And I personally really love the kitchen because you get an enclosed kitchen with a window, which is not something that you see, not just in CCR, even in OCR, RCR. That's not something that is common. So to me, even for myself, I will be able to envision myself staying there very comfortably, even just a 2 plus study.
So I thought that the opportunity was a lot of upgraders would want to look into this area. But I think we cannot go past the 4-bedroom floor plan. A lot of Orchard owners because they always prefer big space. I thought a lot of them would be looking into this area. Okay, but one interesting fact about this 2,056 square feet, it also includes the private lot, which Amanda, can you explain more on this feature from Upper House for the 4-bedroom?
So essentially, what this means is that your 2,056 square feet is inclusive of your dedicated parking lot. So why the developer do this? This is also a similar concept that they introduced in Mayor House. It's mainly because the developer is fully aware that as a 4-bedder buyer, chances of you owning a car, it's very high. And you, as a 4-bedder buyer, you really need that certainty that at the end of the day, if I were to come back home, I do have a lot to park in. Instead of having to squeeze with everyone or coming home before everyone. I think that kind of uncertainty is not something that someone, spending 7 million is willing to risk. Yeah. So I thought that is something that is very genius of the developer to think of it. Yeah, because given that the development is so near to the MRT, there's limited, there's so much that the developer can introduce in terms of the number of parking lots because of the restrictions involved, right? So this is one way to skirt around the restriction. Yeah, which I think it gives a lot of peace of mind to buyers. I mean, take for example, if we are looking at developments such as 15 Holland Hill, their parking is an issue.
So ladies, I want to ask both of you, coming into this Orchard Boulevard, because everything else is mainly freehold, so a lot of buyers are thinking, if I come into this area, I would want to buy a freehold instead of a 99 leasehold. So what do you all think?
Okay, granted, I think that when it comes to buying properties into Orchard, there will definitely be this group of buyers. Actually, not just Orchard lah. There's always this group of buyers that are looking at freehold properties, right? So when it comes to Upper House being a 99-year leasehold, it's something that some of my older clients will bring up to me as well. To me, I feel that Upper House, the leasehold status will be a concern only on the condition that the price is priced very closely to their freehold counterparts nearby. But if we were to just open up the map, we will know that their next nearest comparable in terms of a freehold development, it's Park Nova. And when we are talking about Park Nova, we are looking at transaction of 6,000 over per square feet in comparison to Upper House at 3,000 over per square feet. So I would say that Upper House will be a concern if it's priced at, more than, in terms of price difference, less than 20%, maybe at 5,000 over, as compared to Park Nova. But here we are looking at a half price. So to me, I would see that as an opportunity. If my next door neighbor is already transacting at a ×2 price, that gives me a lot of confidence. I mean, when it comes to buying properties in Orchard, agents we know that sometimes we are very afraid to buy into properties in Orchard, right? That's the elephant in the room. But when it comes to assessing safety for upper house, right, I really feel that there's quite a bit of room in terms of safety.
Sure.
Actually, when I met a lot of my Chinese clients, right? When last time even I myself have the Xingping that I will think that these people they want freehold. Then when I mentioned to them it's 99, they were like 99 very good already what? In China it's 70 I'll take any time. So they don't have a problem with 99. Yeah, so actually it's our older generations that have more of a concern with the tenure of the properties because that's what they're used to. But I think in our generation, as long as our wallets can afford something, we go for it.
Yeah, very happy that it's 99.
Yeah, correct. Because if this was freehold,
we don't even need to step into it.
yeah. But you don't need to drive by already.
Alright, so ladies, so next question is people who are looking into this area specifically. So 2 years ago, we had Cuscaden going on a crazy sale. So now Upper House is coming up as well. So what do you think is the main difference for Cuscaden Reserve as well as Upper House? Shah?
I think mostly it's the layout. To be honest, Cuscaden, I brought a few clients to go and see before. I was very impressed with the
artsy factor.
Yes. It's very artsy, very fartsy, but I don't like the layout.
What about the layout?
The big ones are okay. But the small ones, right? They feel like I'm just buying an MBS suite. There is no separation. There's no true separation between my living, my bedrooms, and my. Or some may call it flexi layout lah. But I'm just not a fan of the flexi. I think it's too flexible. You might as well just give me a commercial space empty, and then I do myself.
Yeah, I joked with my client previously. You know, you can just sit at the sofa and then grab your chips from your kitchen.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's not possible for you to enclose the kitchen in any way one. So at that time when people buy, I think, everyone was sold on the PSF because the fire sale was really insane. But I think if you have Upper House coming up and then
at the same time, both launch at the same time.
Correct. And then the PSF is honestly is not going to be too far off, right? I think to offload my Cuscaden in the resale market next time, I feel will be a bit difficult lah. I think that the expats like that kind of layout, but as long as our ABSD is still 60%, then I think it will be a bit difficult. Yeah, whereas for Upper House, the layout, they are very catered to our local market. Yeah, and the sizes, everything all makes sense. And if we look at the PSF that they are the indicative, I think that this project, I think it's in a very good space. Yeah.
Cuscaden, we went all the way to 3007 PSF. But what's the estimation for Upper House PSF?
So in terms of Upper House PSF, there isn't an official indicative prices that is released by the developer yet. But in terms of 1 bed plus study, we could well be looking at the low 3,000. Yeah, 2 bedder, we could be looking at a 3,100, 3,200 onwards. Similarly for 3 bedder, we're looking at about 3,200, 3,300 onwards. And then 4 bedder is about 3,400 per square feet onwards. So in terms of pricing, for me, it came as a surprise, but in a good way. Not a shock, but a surprise, because I expected the developer to price a lot higher.
So even if I'm looking at the rental of Cuscaden, which honestly isn't bad. So if I'm looking at Cuscaden's 2-bedroom, they're going around 8,000, 7,000, 7,008 to 8,000, right? So and of course it is based on their entry price of a higher entry price. But if I look at Upper House, if investors are looking into this area to get around that same rental yield, I really think it's something for you all to look at as well. Yeah, but I personally feel the 2-bedroom plus study will be wiped out lah, because 2 stacks only.
I mean, since we are on the topic of rental yield, right? Rental yield is derived by, is very much dependent on, rent is one thing.
Yeah.
Another key thing is actually the entry price.
Yes.
So as an investor, something that really stood out to me when I put Upper House compared with Cuscaden Reserve as well as 19 Nassim, right? It's really the entry price. That while we acknowledge that Cuscaden Reserve and 19 Nassim are a lot bigger in size, the fact is that the entry price just looks very different. Because
Correct.
if I were to look at the average transacted for a 1 bed plus study for Cuscaden as well as 19 Nasim, we are looking at minimally of a 2 mil. Whereas Upper House is potentially going to start from 1.4xx onwards, or even 1.5 for that matter, it doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to put out here is that there is a price gap of about more than $500,000 just for the 1 bed plus study alone. So that alone, I think, gives me as a buyer a lot of certainty and safety that it's something that is workable. It's something that is I'm able to exit well in.
The benchmark is it's very
Yes.
far. The gap
Yeah.
is very, very big.
Essentially, I'm buying the price floor of
Yes.
the entire area.
I think our podcast has always been like that. We always like projects that we are entering based on
The
benchmarks.
benchmark,
There's something
yeah.
higher. We always don't like to be zhengke for the entire district. We always like to find benchmark, which I feel that so far that has always been our mindset lah. Okay, so the very last segment, what would we individually, disclaimer, this is all based on our own thoughts and analysis.
And our
Please-
own values and
Yes.
preferences.
Please do not call us and then
Obviously,
yeah, okay. But so this is me being very, very unbiased.
you being Jason Chan.
Me being Jason Chan, I'm just looking at it from my way. Okay. I personally feel I would buy Upper House as per investment and Ownstay. Okay, why Ownstay is because it's damn lux lah. I think coming in concierge, I think the address, it's a very big factor already. 22 Orchard Boulevard. I'm near to the Orchard area. I'm like near to the city area. And then of course, in that city area, I still get to have landed views, unblocked views, ventilation, landed houses, places to walk when Charlie wants to walk at night, whatever the case may be. So I thought that the location, which typically is convenient but don't have the lifestyle amenities of it, Upper House has both. Of course, on top of that, when I look into the project itself, the concierge service, the Botanical Villa of things, the luxury materials that we're using, I thought it just speaks so much on lifestyle. Okay, why investment? It's also because we are just based on numbers. If my opposite plot, Cuscaden, which my rental every month has been moving very fast. Every month I have tenancy coming in based on those that has been caveat lah. And then based on exit price next time, if they're going at 3007 PSF highest, then it just serves as a very safe blanket for me to enter here as an investor. Okay, so my best buy would be the 2 bedroom plus study. I prefer that one a bit more. Okay, Sha?
Ownstay. Ownstay. It's really very nice lah. It's very comfortable. The address is one thing. And I'm near Botanic Gardens also, which is the park that I want. Yeah, and I'm walking distance to Tanglin Mall and all that. Of course, in investment aspect, I think it's great because it ticks almost every box of a tenant's need, basically. Yeah, but for me, if I were to buy in here, it's really a lifestyle choice. I think I want to say that if I buy investment, I would still choose One North. Can I say that? But if lifestyle is definitely here. Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to remind that our neighbours are Park Nova, 3
Yeah.
Orchard by the Park.
Correct.
Orchard Bel Air.
Yeah. All of which we
Bells
cannot
Grange.
afford.
Crazy to be to have an address 22 Orchard Boulevard is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, for Amanda, Ownstay or investment?
For me, it's very obviously Ownstay and investment. I mean, like I mentioned, right, before Upper House was even called Upper House, I already like this plot. Mainly because I enjoy town, and to tell me that I'm able to go to town without having to drive up the Ion circular car park, and I just have to take an MRT down. It just sounds really comfortable.
Yeah, she's really not lying because she really called me at like 1 a.m. and tell me she's at the...
Yo.
She's like, oh my god, Sally, I really like it.
Yeah, so in terms of Ownstay, it's really very perfect. Yeah. And I mean, that's in terms of town. But oftentimes, because of Ownstay, we also wanted somewhere that is quiet. And if you were to drive down Orchard Boulevard, that stretch of road itself, be it in the day or night, you realize that there's really not much traffic. And it is a row of greens. So that's something that I really appreciated as a Ownstay piece. And in terms of investment, so when it comes to, I like Orchard properties, right? But as an agent, sometimes certain properties, I really like it. But as an agent, I cannot buy because I will throw face.
Like where?
I cannot say you know, certain projects I really love it, but if I were to tell my clients that, you know, I bought into this project, then they probably will doubt my knowledge and things, you know what I mean? But Upper House, it's something that I'm able to convince myself that it can be a good own stay piece and also a very safe investment choice, purely because of the fact that I'm buying at benchmark price. So for me, it's definitely own stay and investment.
Okay.
Yeah, like actually investment is lah. It makes sense lah.
Yeah,
It makes sense,
it's a safe
But
bet.
MCST also solo.
Yeah.
Honestly, because it's the same as your Woodlands, right? That time you were saying.
Yeah lah.
But
Did anyone was last year on the Woodlands? No, ever, right? Then
No,
Woodlands so expensive. The maintenance 2-bedroom. I don't know. That call me. Yeah. Okay, so with that, thank you all. If you made it to this point of the video, thank you guys so much for showing your support. Please like, share, and subscribe. And of course, if you guys want to have more analysis or even consultation or even any needs of your future property plans, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our contact numbers are shown. And please follow us on IG, Facebook, and we'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Bye-bye.
bye.